The Knicks set a franchise record for largest margin of victory, a 54-point beatdown of the Brooklyn Nets. Final score 120-66 at Madison Square Garden. The Knicks get a much-needed win and one that cannot be ignored. I'm going to tell you why. Mike Brown thinned out his rotations. Trade rumors are swirling. The Knicks deny one trade rumor, but Giannis is upset, and he calls his teammates selfish. And there's only 15 days left to the trade deadline. We're going to get into all of it. But first, let me introduce myself. My name is Poppa Left. I am the host of Your Knicks. Make sure you like this video, leave a comment, and subscribe to the channel so we can get this content out to Knicks fans like you. Yeah, man, there's going to be a lot to talk about in this video. First of all, I want to salute the New York Knicks for the first time since December 5th against the Utah Jazz. The New York Knicks put together a 48-minute game of effort and execution. I know there was a lot of talk about this team, what happened to this team since New Year's Eve. I'm telling you right now, the wins were fun early in the season. We definitely took them, especially after going 2-9 in the last 11 games. But this Knicks team, don't make a mistake. When you look back at the film, they have not been playing good defense all season. They have not been guarding the ball in transition, knowing their personnel well enough to scheme it out and execute the scheme and execute the game plan, not running guys off the three-point line, just not giving consistent, focused effort. And it's resulted in a lot of close games, a lot of miracle efforts by guys late in the game, mainly Jalen Brunson. Sometimes it's a guy like Tyler Kolek or Jordan Clarkson or somebody at the end of the game like Josh Hart giving an effort play. But this Knicks team, for the first time in nearly 2 months, put together 48 minutes of effort and execution, the 2 E's, which is really important if you want to be a championship team. Now, of course, it came against the Brooklyn Nets. And there are a lot of people in Knicks Nation, rightfully so, that are saying, this game, put it to the side. I'll reserve whether I want to get the stench of disappointment off my takes until they go into Philly on Saturday, which is their next game. And we'll see if the Knicks are serious about turning this season around. And I don't blame you. I don't blame you because the opponent was weak. But what I will say is this. The New York Knicks had to do something like last night. They couldn't just win the game. They had to make a statement. They had to show themselves, most importantly, forget about us, forget about Leon, they had to show themselves that they are capable of putting their foot down and playing hard for 48 minutes, focused, and not just that, but executing, putting the ball in the hoop, running their offense to a success, running their offense to a layup, running their offense to an open three, trusting their teammates, being in the right spots on defense, going through screens. I want to get to the game itself because, yes, the Nets stink. The Nets are tanking. The Nets have a bunch of young players and middling vets, and one guy that's probably out of the franchise this year at the deadline, and Michael Porter Jr. And they're a team that got too hot in the middle of the season, and they were probably mandated to shut it down. And they look demoralized. They look as demoralized as we did on Monday night. They were terrible. I'm not going to sugarcoat that. But a 54-point beatdown is a beatdown. That is a statement. Is it a statement win? No, but it's a statement to each other in the locker room that we can never, ever, ever excuse taking a night off, because now when we put our foot down, we get the night off anyways. Karl Anthony Towns only played 20 minutes. Jalen Brunson only played 30 minutes. Mikal Bridges only played 30 minutes. Everybody on the team got on the floor. Everybody on the team got their hands on the ball. And this is how you coast through the regular season. You get up by double digits, You extend your lead, you express your dominance, you impose your will, and by the fourth quarter, you can sit down and laugh and chill with your kids and do your little antics and do your little jokes and do your little sellies and celebrate those who have been celebrating you for the first 40 minutes of the game. And that's how you build team camaraderie. And that's how you get rid of your tired legs. Not by taking a whole month off, and now you got to gruel your way through the actual dog days of the season, which is not over. So it was a message to themselves. Forget about us. It was a message to themselves that we have to get this ship corrected. Now, the question is, did they do too much damage in the last 11 games prior to last night that will not be able to sway Leon Rose's mind when he looks at the trades that are available on the market? Did they do enough damage that will not be able to sway Mike Brown's decision-making when it comes to thinning out this rotation? And you saw in the post game against the Mavericks, he said he had an idea about an adjustment he was going to make. He went with the same starting five, but Jordan Clarkson and Tyler Kolek, for the first time this season, have both been phased out of the rotation. They didn't play until it was garbage time. So that was interesting. Clarkson and Kolek, interestingly enough, were the two heroes who won the NBA Cup that put us in this perceived predicament of the fact that they won the NBA Cup. They actually thought they won something, and they stopped giving effort. They stopped giving focus. They stopped executing for possessions, and they did it here and there. And then eventually they got bit. They got figured out by the league, and then the league attacked them. The league played them as an NBA Cup team, and they started beating them one after the next. So interestingly enough, Clarkson and Kolek, the two guys that dug Mikal Bridges' problems out of the grave against San Antonio and got Josh Hart's the terrible game against San Antonio out of the grave. Brunson, who celebrated his teammates on the championship podium in Vegas, those two guys suffered because Mike Brown is telling the team this. Egos have to die. Jobs are now on the line. And the goal has stayed the same. This is a 26-18 team that looks like a play-in team and has championship aspirations. So someone's going to have to bite the bullet. And it wasn't just Clarkson and Kolek. It was Jalen Brunson who was put off ball. And if you look at the game and you look at the way that the Knicks play, when he's off ball, I'm not talking about the fourth quarter, okay? So the Brunson stance, relax. I want him to have the ball in the fourth quarter. I don't want Cat. I don't want Mikal. I don't want OG. Do I want them to run a semblance of an offense and have motion and have him coming off ball and getting it on the top of the game? Sure. But I want him to have the shot. I'm like, relax. He's a little pet. But off-ball Brunson has been a thing his whole life. And Villanova, his point guard was Ryan Arcidiacono. In Dallas, his point guard was Luka Doncic. Only when he came here did he run his whole show. And I like the show. Some nights, there's nothing else to watch but Brunson go to work. And I'll tell you this, he's the only player on the Knicks that has perfected his bag. Everyone else is doing this or doing this or doing this. That's the OG Anunoby dribble off the legs. The other one was the hook by Cat. The other one was the fadeaway by Mikal. He's the only one that's perfected his bag. So yeah, he deserves the ball. But last night, Mike Brown said, get off ball. We're going to force the ball around the horn. You're going to come up. They're not going to be able to wall you off. And we're going to get you the ball in different spots on the floor. And there was one play that really stuck out to me. It was a two possession sequence. I believe the Knicks were up by 9 points or so. Brunson gets blocked. I think Zaire Williamson, who I would trade for in a minute. Yabusele, if that's what we can get, I'll take him. Zaire Williams comes back down the other end, gets a layup. Next possession, Brown calls timeout. Next possession, Brunson's off ball. Shamet drives baseline. See ball, see man. Guys are stuck to their principles. They're used to guarding Brunson like four men in a wall. Everybody looking where he's going. Let's double here. They're not used to guarding Brunson off ball. And Brunson finds an open spot, and he hit his only three of the night, and it was not a coincidence. He's our best shooter as well. Other guys have to be able to distribute on this team. There was such a disgusting stench from that Mavericks game. When I went back and looked at it, and I didn't have the expectations of the Knicks to win or lose or anything like that, I was like, oh, this is interesting. Mike Brown is putting Deuce McBride at the point, and he's putting Brunson off ball. So this is something that they are instituting in their offense. Getting Karl Anthony Towns the ball at the top of the actions and running cuts off of his gravity. So everybody was doing well. There was a sequence in the second half where the Knicks were moving the ball around the horn, and it resulted in a Karl Anthony Towns dunk. There was another sequence where Hart found Anunoby cutting down. It was back-to-back plays. Clyde almost, Clyde he was euphoric. So that was good to see. I got to tell you, man, there's a couple things that are true about what happened in the last 11 games. The damage might have been done. And I'm telling you what Leon Rose is doing right now, according to the information I got, it is smoke screen damage control going on in CAA right now. This report that the Knicks are not moving Karl Anthony Towns is a lie. They are looking to move him. They are talking about trading him for Giannis. Now, they are so put off by the last 11 games and the locker room issues and the coach and him not being able to get together. They've explored other options outside of that. They've decided whether they want to pivot on that. The problem is that mean that Giannis has stayed in Milwaukee and you need to keep Karl to match salary? Because if you trade Karl as a salary dump, those players that are salary dump, they're not as attractive as Karl. I know a lot of Knicks fans don't like Karl Towns, but the guy is still, he's a star. You can offload him somewhere else, get some young players back, get those players to Milwaukee. That's the framework of the deal. So this idea that Karl Towns is off the table, it's a lie. The Knicks are looking at Giannis. The whole league is looking at Giannis. Not necessarily to see if they're going to get him. There's only a handful of teams that are talking to him. But they're all looking to see that this is a monumental league-shifting deal that is in the works. And Giannis last night was talking about he only had 11 shots. They lost again by 20 to the Oklahoma City Thunder. And Giannis is talking about my teammates are selfish. Maybe these guys think it's their time. They're a young group of players. Maybe he's on his way out. I'm telling you right now, max, he has 40 games left in Milwaukee. It's over. They cannot build a contender with him. So the Knicks they're still talking about it. The other thing that came out is the Knicks are rumored to be talking about trading Yabusele. What? What? Wait, really? I'm telling you right now, Yabusele, Bargnani, Joakim Noah, Antonio McDyess, right? Like Jared Jeffries, Jerome James. Like, we know he's not that level. But I'm telling those five guys at some level, I smile. Like, I'm like, oh, okay, all right, maybe it could work here. Eddie Curry got MVP chance in the Garden. No, he didn't. MVP. Eddie Curry. Jimmer Fredette even got some love. Yabusele stinks, bro. This guy is absolutely all. He doesn't have one moment. So he's on the rumor to be traded. Clarkson's talking like he's still got something left in the tank. On offense, for sure. On defense, he's cooked. But now Leon Rose has to decide. Does he want to make a marginal move, or does he want to take a big swing based off what he saw in the last month? What do you guys think? Leave a comment and check out the rest of my videos. This is your Knicks.